am I here? More importantly, why are you here? And why are we here? Well, there's a connection to the past and also a connection to the future. This concrete building is in Stockport, the northwest of England. Once a powerhouse of mill owners and the industrial north, as they used to call it. A very hard time for the industrial workers, not so much for the big mill owners. In some regards, it was a very harsh time for the mill workers in the Victorian times. They would obviously have long hours and get quite abusive work environment from the mill owners. The mill owners were known to be very cruel to their workers, and as time goes past, new sort of working practices were introduced that stopped that. How can history help? How can this building help? How can concrete help? Some people would say it looks absolutely horrendous. If we turn around and look at that facade, look at all the blank buildings. It almost looks like some kind of monument to the dead. Could it be a monument for the dead? Some would say it was. This was part of the NHS and part of a government building. And some people think government interference is part of what's wrong with society. But we're not talking about that in a bigger scale today. We're talking about this building. Is it beautiful? Can a building like this be beautiful? Should it be knocked down? Personally, I don't think it should. I think it should be revered, absolutely revered. But this space and this building has actually been, I'm not going to say abandoned, but neglected. If you look around here, you'll be able to see weeds. And this concrete element used to be a cascading waterfall. As you can see the little spouts at the top, and water is cascade and down. So you can imagine the workers mundane workers in there working 9 to 5 on some boring sort of typing or working on something, some council procedure. When it came to dinner time, the council officials or the architects who made this building would think these people can come out and escape from the drudgery of work and come and sit here and have a little sandwich or watch the waterfall, and they could have a chat with colleagues. But there's only an echo of that now. There's nobody here. I don't know if there's any big people working in this building. You can actually hear the echo of the concrete. This is what maybe this video is about. The echo of the concrete, or the echo of the past. But it's not that past what we think about the past. It's not what we're thinking about the Victorian times or before that. We're talking about the 1970s. You probably know someone who lived in the 1970s. I was born in 1970. So this building was built when I was 5 years old. Didn't know anything about it. Just come in a little bit, I'll show you an interesting element of the exterior of this building. Look at the traces of these blue lines and green lines. There's actually another white one. What are they? Well, at some point when this building was in full use, it was decided that the people sat behind the desks who were not getting enough exercise, and it was unhealthy to be in these big buildings working from 9 to 5. One idea was at dinner time they would come and walk along either the blue one or the green one. So imagine you've been toiling away on your typewriter or writing a memo, and at dinner time what the council wanted you to do was get some exercises. But not just have a walk around looking at things, is to follow a line, either a blue one, a green one, or a white one. And these lines would loop around this open area and you would get your exercise. But part of me sort of reminds me of a prison, sort of a prison yard, where the prisoners would walk around in circles just getting their exercise. And that's the way the council sort of thinks sometimes. They don't think in a creative way. They think we need our council employees to get exercise so they can be productive in their work. So this is how the council thought their employees should get exercise, by following, it sounds a bit comical now, following these lines for half an hour, probably as they ate their sandwiches. And you can imagine having their flask of coffee and trying to get their so many steps, which is comical, but also I find it quite tragic that they're so narrow-minded, the council, that they would someone invented this way of getting exercising by following a coloured line on this concrete sort of open area. This is one of the most interesting architectural elements of the whole building. If you pan round, you'll be able to see this row of columns off to the distance. In fact, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns. If you come in a little bit, we'll discuss. Stockport, where we are, has always been famous for hats, and these columns were representatives of the hat industry. So each of these columns would have a bronze sculpture of a specific hat, so sort of celebrate Stockport's history. So it's a bit of a juxtaposition, because the hat industry probably died out 100 years ago, and this is from the 1970s, but they wanted to celebrate the history of Stockport. Let's say, for this example, on this very column was a bronze flat cap. You can imagine a flat cap which one of the mill workers would wear. That was there. If you come over to the next one, now on this one was more of a sort of like a bowler cap, because there was quite a lot of money actually came from London at that point in the turn of the century, and this was a representation of the money coming from London. So there's a bronze bowler hat on there. And then the next one here is very interesting. On this one there was a trilby, which was trendy at a certain time, and some quite dapper gentlemen would be seen in the early century with a trilby hat on when they went out and about. So I'm not quite sure what the other hats were. Obviously they're long gone. What can we learn from this building? What can we learn from history? And does history help? I get a sense of sort of like a disquiet about this space. It used to be a bustling space with a lot of council activity going on, but it's semi-derelict now. Okay, have we found out anything? Have we learned anything? Can we learn anything from this amazing but controversial material, concrete? Look, come in a little bit. Look at the lichen that's taken over parts of the element of this concrete and the weeds trying to grow through. I think it tells a story. I think it holds an echo of another time. Maybe there was a preoccupation with making straight lines and making it so that it was simple to build, but I think that changed people. I think that made people sort of less aware of artistic elements, and when people were working here, to be honest with you, they probably couldn't even see their surroundings. They weren't interested in what they were looking at. They were just more interested in getting home and watching television or going to the pub. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed episode 2 of History Helps. But does this building help? Do you think it should be demolished for a modern building? Or do you think we should celebrate this building and get it all renovated? Do you think this building should be renovated and all the area? Do you think we should have some life back in this amazing building? But will it happen? I don't know. Well, I for one believe in these buildings, and I believe in concrete, and I believe that history helps. So Okay, we'll see you next time.